Good morning, Tigers. It's me, Anthony Amison again. I'm going to go ahead and do another video for you guys. I think this is going to be useful. As I've been working in Screencast-O-Matic, I've found so many amazing things. But this video is actually about Google Classroom. I'm sure that there are so many videos out there that you might have even watched. But for me personally, I struggle with finding exactly what I want and what I need Google Classroom or anything to do. So once I find something like this, I really like to just give that information to different people. So for this one, it's probably more specifically for my department, but it could be useful for you. So I'm going to go ahead and record this just for your sake. And I would also just say, if you find something in Google Classroom that you think, wow, this is useful, even outside of your department, I think it would be a great thing for us to just share this freely, because we are all, again, in this trial and error stage of our career where we're trying to figure things out like brand new teachers. So really, consider reaching out to everyone, showing something. I think Screencast-O-Matic is fantastic. I promise not to bother you guys all the time about this stuff, and I won't send you all these videos all the time, but I appreciate all of you who are actually watching these, and I hope that they are helpful for you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into Google Classroom and show you what I found that I think would be really useful for you. All right, so here's what I have found could be extremely useful for myself as a teacher, but also for my students as well. So as I've gone into this idea of using Google Classroom exclusively or extensively for my classes, I have kind of thought of what this might look like for a student. And that, I think, is going to be really important, right? There's going to be all kinds of questions where the students are going to say, I'm not really sure how to do this. I could help individual students, and I'm sure I'm going to end up doing that anyhow, but the way that I like to teach is big, small, smallest, right? So that's kind of how I like to plan out my lessons, and I think that's how I want to approach presenting Google Classroom to my students now, right? I don't want to have a lot of confusion. So this is going to get, those broad-minded students who really can grasp an auditory, visual style project. And so they're going to understand it here, and then I can hone that down and help the kids that didn't quite get it, and then I can hone that down even further to help the kids who really just needed some individual help, right? So here I have on my screen a fantastic thing happening. I have actually created a Google Classroom in my own personal account, and I have my student, who is my wife's account, over here on the opposite side. So I have a teacher account and a student account open for us to see what they look like and if there are any real differences, right? And I think this is important because if I can see the differences, then I can answer the questions that the students might have, right? So that's where I'm going to go with this today. I'm just going to show you around Google Classroom just a touch, but I'm also going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to be using Google Classroom for. I will say that our approach, or at least my approach inside of my classroom, is probably on the minimalistic side compared to what some of you might have. Again, I know Chuck Pack showed me his Google Classroom, and God bless you, math teachers and science teachers and all of you out there that have these massive assignments having to get out there to your students. It's definitely going to be a roller coaster ride, but I really believe that this is going to be helpful for you to see. So let's go ahead and get rolling with this. I will also go ahead and say I've created a Google Classroom with my personal account and used my wife's account as my student account because the district Google Classroom policy or Google Suite policy it has a lot of restrictions. So I wasn't actually able to use my school account to add my personal account as a student. It wouldn't allow me to do that because my personal account is not connected to the school. So it said that that's restricted. And then I tried the opposite as well. I went into my personal account and tried adding my school account, and it said, I'm sorry, you can't do that either. So I had to go out to the personal account world, and that's how I'm able to present this. But it's still along the same line. So here we are. You can see in my class I have just this one class set up. I'm just going to call it Art Seminar, and it says I have one student here. And here is the student account over here, Art Seminar, and it shows she's only the one student in there. So here we are. We're all set up. Everything looks nice and fancy. I'm just going to click into my classroom on the teacher side, and there we are in our stream. And I'll go ahead and click into the classroom on the student side. Not a lot of differences here. One immediate difference that stands out would be that you can see that we have grades, right? And they don't have that option. But really, it looks very similar, right? So here's my stream. I haven't hidden my announcements here, and I haven't even made any announcements, but I did post a project so we can see what that might look like. So again, just as Sam Allen has said, this stream really is just for me to make announcements and say, hey, this is what's going on. And then, everything else, I would probably be better off to put it right here in my classwork tab. So here I am in classwork. Let's click over in classwork over there. You can see already that it looks very, very similar. Again, there are slight differences here. You can see clearly that it says turned in and, assigned. Over here, it just says that it was assigned. So not a lot of differences, and that's great. But here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. With my projects, by the way, all I'm doing is actually creating a Google slide so that they may be able to put their artwork inside of that Google slide, right? So as I'm going forward here, I do want to make sure that we are doing something, at least in my classes, that I think would be important. I need to make sure that I actually go in here and edit this and make sure that I see that I have selected for this specific assignment that each student will get a copy of the assignment. Now, if I were to do this, all I have to do inside of my file here, anytime I add a file, it's going to give me that option. So if I were to add just another file here, you can see there we are. This gives me the option here. It's going to show me the drop down. It'll say students can view file. And for some reason, this one's not showing all three options, but the other one definitely gave me that option here. I'm sure there's an answer to that somewhere. So students can view file, students can edit file. These are things, this is obviously, I don't want them doing anything to the file. I just want them to read it. And then this other one would be that they can actually collectively edit the file. And that's a big deal. Sometimes that may work and you may need them to actually collectively edit something. But for the most part, you're going to want to make sure that each student gets their own copy. All right, so back to what I am showing here. I don't want to save that. So here we are back in this screen. I can see what's going on here. So here's my assignment. It says that no one has turned it in. And it says over here that Lindsay Amison has, in fact, not turned it in either. We need to make sure that she actually has done something here. So here's what I'm going to do. So she's looking at this. Inside of her project, she has her Google slide, which is a personalized Google slide. It's for her only. Whenever she turns it in, it is for her only. So here she is. She has decided to come in and work in her Google slide. You can see she hasn't added anything to this, but now she wants to go ahead and insert her image. And in your situation, it might be that you actually have a worksheet here or anything like that available for her. So she's working inside of her work here, and she needs to now add an image. So let's go and add an image from our computer. So here she decided to insert the infamous tiger squirrel. It's a rare species and is incredibly dangerous, so make sure you watch out for these in your backyard. So she decided this is where she wanted to go with this. You can see that it is clearly not her original, coming at you from frigginrandom.com. So here she is. She decided that's where it is. So here's the cool part for the student. Inside of Google Slides, or really inside of all of Google, you actually don't have the option to save. If you look over here under File, there are no options to save this. It gives me options. I can add a shortcut to my Google Drive. I can share it to different things. I can download it as a PDF for all of these different things. But really what a student is going to want to do here is just leave it. There it is. She added her picture, and check this out. She's going to come over here to, I can even actually exit out of this, and I will. She's going to come over here to her Google Slides again just to make sure. And there it is. See, it saved it for her. How fantastic is that for them to know? I think that's a comfort thing, so they can say, oh, I added this and I lost it. Well, that's not really going to happen here. Every time I add anything, it's going to just be right there. So here we are. We're good to go. She has this, and now she's going to actually go ahead and turn this project in. So she's going to click View Assignment, and she's looking around here. She sees that it's here. She might click it up again because she's a little nervous. Yep, there it is. Everything looks good. And then she's going to click Turn In. And it's going to give her, this little pop-up here. She says, yep, I want to turn it in. This is also really important. Maybe she turns it in prematurely and she says, oh no, I don't want actually to submit this. You can see it popped up over here, by the way, on my teacher screen, 1 turned in. zero sign, so that's great. But she's like, oh, I don't want to actually submit this yet. I needed to do something. She has that option to go ahead and unsubmit that. That's really, really fantastic, especially for my nervous students who thought that they were done, but they weren't quite done, right? So now she turned it or unsubmitted it to herself. It doesn't show up on my screen just yet, but eventually it will show up there. And now that she has this, she has access to work on it again. Once she's turned it in, she doesn't have access to work on it, but she can unsubmit that at any time, and she's good to go. So now we're going to turn it in. Everything looks good. There we go. It popped up on my screen that it was not turned in, and now she's turning it back in. Let's wait for our screen over here as a teacher to see what's happening. She's going to turn it in. At some point, it's going to pop up. You might have to refresh the tab every now and then, so let's refresh that really quickly. Pop back in there. There we are. It's turned back in there. Zero assigned. So now I can actually go over here and just click on the turned in, or I can click view assignment. So I'm viewing my assignment, or I can just click turned in. It's going to bring me over here to student work, and then it's going to show me under the instruction tab, what things look like as well. So I'm going to be under student work. There's Lindsay's stuff right here. She has turned it in, so let's go ahead and click on that. Now I can view her stuff here, and this is really useful as well. Here's my view screen. I know it's kind of small just because of the way that I'm presenting this with split screen, but I can look at her artwork and I can decide if we're ready to go, right? You can grade the artwork and you can give her a grade here, or you also have the option to go ahead and add private comments. You can see I've already added some comments here just playing around yesterday. I let her know it's not hers, or I would say, this is really great, but just increase the contrast or something like that. So I can say things right here. Say things right here, right? And so then I would post that. It's posted. She's actually going to get an email. This is interesting. She's going to get an email from me saying that, hey, I said something to her, and then I can come in here and let her know this is what she needs to do, right? Or this is good, everything looks great. I can grade it, and then I can return it to her. So now I'm going to return it to her. This doesn't have a grade to it, but that's okay. And now I've returned it to her. She's going to be able to go into her class again, because she's probably going to get, or she is definitely going to get an email that says that she has it returned to her, and she's going to actually be able to come in and look at this. She can see my comments here, say things right here. There we go. She can see all my comments, and she can see that it is once again assigned. That's important. This is going to be gone once she submits it, and then once I return it to her, it gives her the option to look at it, right? And I will be able to actually open up this, and any edit that I did in her Google slide will now show up here. So that's just really, really useful stuff. I think that there are so many, it's just really it's kind of unlimited. You can do so many things inside of Google Classroom that I'm sure that I am being incredibly minimalistic for some of you guys, and that's okay. But my biggest goal is this. I want to allow my students to really understand what everything looks like on their side. And if I can understand what things look like on their side, then it's going to make it a lot easier for me to teach them how to fix anything, right? So maybe some of you might not be able to do this, but if you have the chance to play around with both sides, I think it would be useful for everyone to create a dummy student account and then use your own personal account, or create a dummy teacher account. So you have both of those. Again, you have to do this outside of the school district because of the restrictions on our Google Suite, but that's okay. I do have this access now, right? And so I have all of this information and availability right here at my hands that is going to help make my students' life so much easier, because they're going to see what I am trying to teach and actually show them this is what I want you to do inside of your own student classroom. So I think that's really useful. I know that was a little bit of a lengthy video, but again, I hope that you guys enjoy this. I hope that it actually could be useful for you. And if I have anything else, I might add it later on, but otherwise, you guys have a fantastic day, and go Tigers.